Tamara.
Somebody shut her up!
It can't end like this. I won't let it.
The movie opens with Tamara entering her classroom and handing a book to her English teacher, Bill. They start kissing, but Tamara notices classmates watching through the glass door. Embarrassed, she pushes Bill away and catches a glimpse of herself in a nearby mirror, filled with self-loathing. As students enter, Bill loudly proclaims he could never love her, and the class erupts in laughter. Afterward, Tamara jolts awake, relieved to realize it was only a nightmare. Patrick sits behind her in class, taunting her relentlessly. When her book on witchcraft slips to the floor, he mocks her, labeling her a witch. The teacher intervenes, cutting the harassment short. As Tamara gathers her things to leave, Bill stops her in the doorway. He holds up an article she authored, recently published in the school newspaper. With a warm smile, he tells her how proud he is of her achievement. Meanwhile, Tamara finds herself in the school locker room when Keisha strolls up, mocking her about the article she published. Before things escalate, Chloe steps in, defending Tamara and telling Keisha to back off.
Back off.
Later, as school lets out, Patrick and his friends corner Tamara, shouting threats and vowing revenge for the piece she wrote. Quickly, Tamara dashes into Bill's empty classroom. Concerned, Bill asks what's wrong and apologizes for approving the article that exposed them for using performance-enhancing drugs. Meanwhile, Tamara attempts to get closer to him. Bill quickly recoils, rejecting her advance, leaving Tamara humiliated as she escapes the room, unaware that another Keisha overheard the entire conversation. Later, Patrick and his friend confronted her about the article she had published, warning her of the trouble it could cause. Sean vents to Patrick and Keisha about being benched after refusing a drug test. It's revealed Keisha is Sean's girlfriend, and she shares what she overheard in Bill's classroom. Sean then ropes Roger and a few other students into a scheme, inviting him to a party with sinister intentions. Meanwhile, Bill confides in his wife, Miss Allison, about the awkward situation with Tamara. Unsettled, she shifts the mood by hinting she might be pregnant, rekindling warmth in their relationship. At home, Tamara endures her bitter father's mockery of her interest in witchcraft before he stumbles out. Alone, she arranges candles for a love spell on Bill, but abandons the ritual midway as doubt sets in.
To the ancients who were before time.
That evening, Tamara gets a call from Sean, disguising his voice as Bill's, inviting her to meet up. Believing her spell worked, she excitedly gets dressed, kisses a torn page from her spellbook, and heads out. Chloe and Jesse arrive at a rundown motel where Sean and Patrick set up hidden cameras, planting one in the adjacent room. Sean adds final touches, a bouquet and a handwritten note on the bed. When Tamara arrives, thinking the invite is from Bill, she finds the flowers and reads the note, instructing her to wait in bed. Meanwhile, the group watches the footage, struggling to identify her in the dim light. But when Sean flicks on the light, they're shocked to see it's Tamara. Instead of stopping, Sean mocks her while recording. Realizing the cruel prank, Tamara hurriedly dresses and flees in distress. As she rushes down the hallway, she hears Chloe's voice calling after her. Consumed by betrayal and convinced Chloe was part of the prank, Tamara lashes out, attacking her in a fit of rage. Patrick rushes in to pull Tamara off Chloe, while Sean keeps the camera rolling, eager to capture every humiliating second. In the struggle, Tamara bites Patrick, causing him to shove her away violently. She stumbles backward, her head smashing against the edge. The room falls into stunned silence as they realize Tamara is dead. Chloe immediately insists they go to the police, but Sean shuts her down, threatening to pin the entire thing on her and Jesse. Jesse, visibly shaken, reminds Chloe that their fingerprints and DNA are all over Tamara, and the authorities will easily tie them to her death. Roger, desperate to protect his scholarship, pleads with them not to ruin his future. The group then drives deep into the forest under the cover of night to bury Tamara's body. But once they finish, they discover her grave is empty. Her body has vanished. As they nervously retreat from the site, a shadowy figure emerges from the trees. Before anyone can react, the creature slashes Sean's throat, dropping him where he stands. The others scream and scatter, but as Patrick tries to escape, Tamara, now something far from human, catches him effortlessly, snapping his neck with terrifying ease. Suddenly, Chloe jolts awake in her bed. She believes it was all just a nightmare. But as she sits up, she notices dark bruises forming on her arm, the kind that couldn't come from a dream. Overwhelmed, she breaks down in tears. Later that day, the group sits in class, trying to pretend everything is normal. Their facade shatters when Tamara walks through the door.
How was I getting here?
She's alive, and not just alive, but radiant. Her confidence is strange. Meanwhile, in the adjoining classroom, Sean's friends huddled together, whispering frantically. They're in disbelief. How could Tamara be standing? Panic sets in as they wonder if they made a horrific mistake. At the AV center, where Roger works, things take an even darker turn. Without warning, the footage of the night they killed Tamara flickers across every monitor. Roger scrambles to shut it off, but the controls are useless. As the images loop relentlessly, Tamara suddenly appears beside him, her voice like a venomous whisper. She taunts him, calling him a coward, reminding him of his failed killing of her. Afterward, a chilling message blares through the school's PA system. Roger's voice, hollow and emotionless, repeats the ominous warning. Roger sits alone in the AV center, his face pale and expressionless. With chilling determination, he slices off his ears, then his tongue. Blood spilling onto the equipment. Before taking his final breath, he mutters through the agony that everyone should always stand up for what is right. The group, shaken and confused, gathers outside, struggling to process what happened. Suddenly, Tamara appears, thanking them with a sinister smile and claiming they made her stronger. The group stammers, trying to explain, but Tamara ignores them and walks away. Panicked, they return to the grave in the woods, desperate to understand how Tamara survived. At the burial site, Chloe finds a torn page from Tamara's spellbook in the dirt. Realizing Tamara must have clawed her way out, they suspect the dark magic she started that night brought her back. Meanwhile, Tamara visits Bill's house, claiming she needs someone to talk to. When Bill mentions Allison is still at school, Tamara says she'll wait, but soon tries to seduce him again, asking if he likes her new look. Uncomfortable, Bill says he preferred her before. Tamara persists, but Bill firmly pulls away, declaring his love for his wife. The next morning, Allison meets Tamara at school and asks how she's doing, and they have a rough conversation. Later, Allison asks Bill if he told Tamara about their trouble having children. Bill is confused and denies ever mentioning it. But Allison is still confused. Later, Bill tries to confront Tamara about the situation in the classroom, asking how she knew about his wife's inability to have children. But Tamara remains defiant, refusing to answer. Frustrated and uneasy, Bill walks away, leaving the conversation unresolved. Afterward, Tamara gets ready for Patrick's party, even though she wasn't invited. While she's finishing her makeup, her father watches her from the doorway. He asks her for a hug, but when she gets close enough to see the sick look in his eyes, she tells him that her mother wouldn't have left him if he were not a drunk man. When Tamara arrives at the party, Patrick tells her she's not welcome. But instead of leaving, Tamara touches his cheek. The moment she does, Patrick's anger disappears, and he stares at her, completely hypnotized. Chloe studies a torn page from Tamara's spellbook and realizes it might explain Tamara's strange transformation. At the party, Tamara dances seductively with a dazed Sean and Patrick, both fully under her spell. She leads them upstairs to a bedroom, seducing them while keeping them firmly under her control. Suddenly, Keisha bursts in, demanding Tamara stop. But Tamara calmly strokes her cheek, softly remarking that Keisha's eating disorder has made her too thin and insisting she needs to eat. Moments later, Keisha is downstairs, frantically shoving food into her mouth, unable to stop as she devours everything in sight. Jesse and Chloe find Keisha and urge her to leave with them. As they head out, Keisha secretly calls Tamara, revealing their plan to see Bill. Jesse notices and tries to grab the phone, but in the struggle he accidentally knocks Keisha out, only to discover, horrified, that she's been eating her own fingers. Jesse and Chloe meet with Bill, desperately explaining Tamara's spells, her strange behavior, and how she's controlling everyone. When they arrive at Tamara's house, they're met with a gruesome scene. Her father is barely alive, choking as he chews on shards of a beer bottle. On the table nearby, they find Tamara's spellbook lying open. As they flip through it, they realize the truth. The love spell Tamara tried to cast was accidentally completed the night she hit her head on the table and died. That spell not only bound her to Bill, but also brought her back from the dead, explaining her terrifying resurrection. Tamara orders Patrick and Sean to kill Allison. That night, Allison is home alone when she hears strange noises echoing through the house. Nervously, she investigates, but before she can react, Sean and Patrick ambush her in the living room, trying to overpower her. Panicked, Allison scrambles toward the front door, only to find it locked. She dashes into the kitchen, grabs a heavy object, and smashes it over Sean's head, stunning him. She then bolts for the basement, locking herself inside. Patrick kicks the door down and lunges at her, trying to strangle her. In a desperate move, Allison grabs a screwdriver and drives it into his neck, killing him instantly. Before she can catch her breath, Sean reappears, attacking her again. Allison fights back with everything she has, grabbing a broken shovel and jamming it into his stomach, finally stopping him. Moments later, Bill arrives with the police. Allison and Keisha, who is still under Tamara's spell, are rushed to the hospital for treatment. While at the hospital, Tamara uses her powers to enchant a police officer, compelling him to ask about Allison's location. Bill overhears the officer speaking to someone in the hallway. When he realizes it's Tamara, he quickly grabs Allison, and they escape.
What is it?
Tamara's here.
Still under Tamara's control, Keisha hunts down Jesse and Chloe, attacking them with a scalpel and forcing them to flee into the school cafeteria. Keisha finds them and viciously beats Chloe, but Jesse distracts her, luring Keisha away. She chases him down and kills him with a brutal blow. As Keisha revels in her victory, Chloe appears behind her and strikes her down, finally breaking free from Tamara's control. Chloe rushes to Jesse but arrives too late, finding him dying in the hallway. Meanwhile, Bill and Allison escape to the rooftop, but Tamara and a spellbound cop follow. Tamara orders the cop to shoot Allison, but just as he's about to, Chloe appears and strikes Tamara with an axe, but it has no effect. Tamara tries to put Chloe under her spell, but it fails. Instead, Tamara is flooded with flashbacks of Chloe protecting her in the past. Realizing the evil she's become, Tamara breaks down in tears as her body decays back into a corpse. Before fully dying, she whispers that she can't leave until she's united with Bill. Bill turns to Allison, tells her he loves her, then kisses Tamara and pulls her off the rooftop with him, sacrificing himself to save everyone. In the end, Allison and Chloe survive. Did this story spook you out? Let us know in the comments below. For more horror movie recaps, subscribe to our channel, and we will see you on the next one. Fear awaits you.